And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about Shalom Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yohanna is putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us at the Sheridan in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the convention center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us there.
It's about time, sending curses to them enemies.
This is amazing. Slaves built this and engineered it. Shoot. We were building. Yes, indeed. Hey, come on in, I.S.U.P.K. Come on in and come in. Man, please go ahead.
Yeah.
1 second.
So this is the building we call the Great Barn. There were many different barns here. There were many farms here, but this was, we believe, the largest barn that was ever built here at Stagville. It was said to be one of the largest barns that had ever been built in the area when it was completed. And this building was built in 1860. So it's built just 4.5 years or so before emancipation. And we do believe that it was built entirely by enslaved builders and craftsmen from this site. As I'm sure you can tell from looking at it, this just would have been a massive building project in this time. You can see, obviously, the tool marks and the timbers. This entire building is timber framed, so these large timbers are held together without any nails or screws or metal attachments. It's basically, the wood has been almost custom carved to lock together.
Wow.
And then there's individual wooden pegs that are carved to fit every joint together. It's an incredibly strong, obviously, building technique. And even the enslaved men who cut this timber and moved it here would have had incredible knowledge and skill, because you can look at the size of these timbers and imagine the knowledge that it took to lift and move these beams with only ropes and pulleys and maybe a few teams of mules hauling. Right. The longest timber in this building is this one that's over our heads. It's a single piece of wood, a single tree, all the way from the end there to right here over my head. Wow. And of course, the tree that timber came from was much, much, much bigger before it was cut down.
And even how they slotted it.
Yeah.
That's a perfect shot right there, where they slotted it.
Yep.
And how they pegged it. No nails.
And then you can see they actually used pressure. They used a wedge driven into the middle there.
Right.
To push against itself to make it even stronger.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So these were not dummies.
Nope.
They knew their business.
Yeah, we definitely see this building. We see this building as such a clear reminder that a lot of times when we talk about slavery, we talk about the way that the institution of slavery took physical labor from people. But this building is such a reminder that the institution of slavery was profiting not just from the work of enslaved people's hands, but also from the work of their minds. Right? This building shows the ingenuity, the expertise, the skill, the craftsmanship, the experience of the people who were here. And that was also being taken for profit, right?
Sure.
In this building, in this place too.
I'm sure that you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that they took slaves to other plantations and utilize them for their skills in other ways and building other buildings. And boy, oh boy, slavery is a good business.
And if you mind me asking also to the type of animals, was it animals or people
yes.
who lived here?
This was a stables for animals, and it was mules. So working animals that were pulling plows, pulling carts and wagons. There were mules stabled here in this particular building. Yeah,
Like could be one of the trucks that would be,
exactly.
the mule was big. How did they
Yeah.
for the head to even go over that truck?
That's right.
Yeah.
They had to sit up pretty good, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they got taken care of because, of course, they were plowing all the 50 square acres. The mules had to be taken care of.
Yeah. Otherwise, if that mule ain't working,
Yeah.
guess who working?
Yeah,
You gotta
pull,
work.
yeah,
Yeah.
pulling that plow. There's a hand plow right here, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are both plows here.
Those wooden, those bent tips are for you to
Push.
use your hands
Yeah.
on.
So they were connected to the mule, and you
Yeah.
had your hand on it. And
Oh, I see. The
Walking
mule
behind
pulled
it,
it, but
exactly.
you walk behind it. Okay.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is something to see.
I would not be shocked if the man them who was taking care of it, if they stayed on top, because they won't put the mules on the top there, right? That was hay.
No, that would have been, probably storage and hay and feed for the animals. Exactly.
And what was this device up here?
So this top story up here, the floor that's up over our heads, that would have gone all the way across, and this would have been like a giant hay loft up there.
Okay.
And that is a winch mechanism that was used to raise heavy or bulky things up to the top story. So there would be ropes and pulleys, and a man would stand on each side and turn those handles and lift up a load of hay or anything else that had to be raised up to the top part of the building.
And let me tell you something, man. This is something, because this means when we got off this plantation, our minds were destroyed.
Yeah.
Because why haven't we built things like this since then?
Yeah.
Why haven't we come together and done, 10 times more amazing?
Right.
Instead, we ended up on drugs and destroyed and in prison and a whole different kind of life. This is incredible.
Make it
Like,
think.
everybody got to see this.
Make it think like the people who was enslaved is totally different to the people today.
Yeah, to today, right?
You know what I mean?
Because I look at this and all I could think of is some highly intelligent,
Yeah.
well organized, safety conscious, men and women that brought this together.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like this is
That's great.
like, once again, they took pride in getting this done. They took pride and they put their soul into getting this done and doing it right, because this was their world.
Yeah.
Even the brickwork on the bottom, the
Yeah.
stones on the bottom were genius.
Like no mortar.
Right. No mortar. Like she wrote out earlier, they kind of fitted them in together to make it work.
So you can imagine when you read in the Bible where they talk about they all tell it to go get stones and build the altar.
That's right.
How they went and
Unhewn
altar was-
stone.
I mean, like,
And put it in there.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. Like, boy, oh boy. Like, I don't need to go to Mecca.
Nope.
I don't need to go to church. I need to come right here.
Right.
You want to learn about God, you come right here and see this level of suffering and understand how precious life is. And you will follow what God said. You will never want to be a drug dealer after this. You will never want to live a life that this world has got us living after you see this. Not if you got any good intelligence. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be super motivation for you.
Yeah, I got think of that too. But more likely that way you find rakes and then come from.
Right. Is that wood?
Yeah.
Oh, wood.
That's what he hit.
This was worth 10 times that. You know what I'm saying? Man, what you gonna do, man? Like, this supposed to be, you supposed to want to build something after this. You wonder why we coming together April 1st from all over the country, all around the world, and coming together in brotherhood and righteousness, because we got to get this in us now. Like, this needs to be in us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this was in there under force. Now you under, yeah, he got the watch.
Mhm.
Now that we still under the same, everything that was described in these spots is going on with us right now today.
Okay.
So You know, we got to do what they did back then for us.
That's right.
As simple as that. Look at this. I mean, no nails. You running at Home Depot trying to get a box of nails. You slow on the game. They Home Depot. You bring one of them brothers back from the past. Home Depot.
Yeah.
Zoop, zoop, zoop. Clock, clock, clock. We in there. No nails.
Which they know too. Them nails,
Yeah.
more like he's the oppressor.
Making more money.
Yeah, but who can't do this?
Yes.
You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? He can't do this. I mean, his mind, nails are better. But this structure here stands for how long?
Since the 1800s.
You know what I mean?
Good night.
Which means we had engineers.
Yeah.
We had people who could,
With top skills.
yeah.
Well, what happened? They played us out.
Yeah.
They played us all the way out. And that's why it may not be cool. It may not be sexy to just come together in brotherhood, to give way to your brother, to forgive your brother. That might seem soft, but that's what they did and got here. Well, this whole, you know, you got to get it. You got to be cold, this, that. Oh, it sound nice, right? It sound good. You know what I'm saying? But what's the reality of it? It don't really work. It don't really work. What works is what Christ prescribed to us. You know what I mean? The law hang on two things. Love the Lord with all thy might and love thy brother as thyself. Now that's hardcore.
That's right.
That's manhood right there. That's how you get something done. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us amazing, man. I ain't
If I could, sir,
please.
I just want to read this as a quote from a slave that actually lived, who was born on the slave plantation. And he
Okay.
continued to
And,
live here.
and he spoke upon it.
Yeah, it
Who
was
I
in,
know that's gold. I'm sorry. I'm just
slave
checking this
narrative.
while we're doing it.
that they did in the early 1900s. He said, "We didn't have any horses to haul with. We used oxen and ox carts. The horse and mules was used to do the plowing. When the Yankees came, they didn't do much harm. Only they told us we was free niggas. But I always feel like I belong to Massa Paul, and I still live at Stagville on the old plantation. I has a little garden and does what I can to earn a little something. The Lord and fixed it so now that I will get a little pension, and I'll stay right on. I'll stay right on in that little house.
That's every brother in the projects right there.
That's
Sean
right.
Conn.
Every brother in the projects right now. Go ahead.
I'll stay right on in that little house till the good Lord call me home. Then I will see Massa Paul once more."
Dang.
Oh, man.
Dang. Say, Say he see Master Paul once more.
Shalom, Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in
Is what Christ prescribed to us. You know what I mean? The law hang on two things. Love the Lord with all thy might and love thy brother as thyself. Now that's hardcore.
That's right.
That's manhood right there. That's how you get something done. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us amazing, man. I ain't
If I could, sir,
please.
I just want to read this as a quote from a slave that actually lived, who was born on the Stagville plantation. And he
Okay.
continued to live here.
And he spoke upon it.
Yeah, it
Who
was
I
in,
know that's gold. I'm sorry. I'm just
slave
checking this
narrative.
while we're doing it.
that they did in the early 1900s. He said, "We didn't have any horses to haul with. We used oxen and ox carts. The horse and mules was used to do the plowing. When the Yankees came, they didn't do much harm. Only they told us we was free niggas. But I always feel like I belong to Massa Paul, and I still live at Stagville on the old plantation. I has a little garden and does what I can to earn a little something. The Lord and fixed it so now that I will get a little pension, and I'll stay right on. I'll stay right on in that little house."
That's every brother in the projects right there.
That's
Sean
right.
Conn.
Every brother in the projects right now. Go ahead.
"I'll stay right on in that little house till the good Lord call me home. Then I will see Massa Paul once more."
Dang.
Oh, man.
Dang. Say, Say he see Master Paul once more.
Shalom, Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yohanna is putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us at the Sheraton in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the convention center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st, in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us there.
It's about time, sending curses to them enemies.
This is amazing. Slaves built this and engineered it. Shoot. Yes, indeed. Come on in, I.S.U.P.K. Come on in, come in. Man, please go ahead.
Yeah.
1 second.
So this is the building we call the Great Barn. There were many different barns here. There were many farms here, but this was, we believe, the largest barn that was ever built here at Stagville. It was said to be one of the largest barns that had ever been built in the area when it was completed. And this building was built in 1860. So it's built just 4.5 years or so before emancipation. And we do believe that it was built entirely by enslaved builders and craftsmen from this site. As I'm sure you can tell from looking at it, this just would have been a massive building project in this time. You can see obviously the tool marks and the timbers. This entire building is timber framed, so these large timbers are held together without any nails or screws or metal attachments. It's basically, you know, the wood has been almost custom carved to lock together. And then there's individual wooden pegs that are carved to fit every joint together. It's an incredibly strong, obviously, building technique. And even the enslaved men who cut this timber and moved it here would have had incredible knowledge and skill, because you can look at the size of these timbers and imagine the knowledge that it took to lift and move these beams with only ropes and pulleys and, you know, maybe a few teams of mules hauling. Right. The longest timber in this building is this one that's over our heads. It's a single piece of wood, a single tree, all the way from the ends there to right here over my head. Wow. And of course, the tree that timber came from was much, much, much bigger before it was cut down.
And even how they slotted it.
Yeah.
That's a perfect shot right there, where they slotted it.
Yep.
And how they pegged it. No nails.
And then you can see they actually used pressure. They used a wedge driven into the middle there
to
push against itself to make it even stronger.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So these were not dummies. Nope. They knew their business.
Yeah, we definitely see this building. We see this building as such a clear reminder that a lot of times when we talk about slavery, we talk about the way that the institution of slavery took physical labor from people. But this building is such a reminder that the institution of slavery was profiting not just from the work of enslaved people's hands, but also from the work of their minds. Right? This building shows the ingenuity, the expertise, the skill, the craftsmanship, the experience of the people who were here. And that was also being taken for profit, right? In this building, in this place too.
I'm sure that you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that they took slaves to other plantations and utilized them for their skills in other ways and building other buildings. And boy, oh boy, slavery is a good business.
Mm-hmm. And if you mind me asking also to the type of animals, was it animals or people who lived here?
This was a stables for animals, and it was mules. So working animals that were pulling plows, pulling carts and wagons. There were mules stabled here in this particular building. Yeah.
That could be one of the trucks that are, you know.
Exactly.
The mule was big. How did they for the head to even go over that truck?
That's right.
Yeah.
They had to sit up pretty good, and I'm sure they got taken care of because, of course, they were plowing all the 50 square acres. The mules had to be taken care of.
Yeah. Otherwise, if that mule ain't working, guess who be working?
Yeah,
You gotta work.
You pulling that plow. There's a hand plow right here, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are both plows here.
Those bent tips are for you to
Push.
use your hands on.
So they were connected to the mule, and you
Yes.
had your hand on it. And
Oh, I see. The
Walking
mule
behind
pulled
it,
it, but
exactly.
you walk behind it. Okay.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is something to see.
I would not be shocked if the men them who was taking care of it, if they stayed on top, because they won't put the mules on top there, right? That was hay.
No, that would have been, yeah, probably storage and hay and feed for the animals, exactly.
And what was this device up here?
So this top story up here, the floor that's up over our heads, that would have gone all the way across, and this would have been like a giant hayloft up there.
Okay.
And that is a winch mechanism that was used to raise heavy or bulky things up to the top story. So there would be ropes and pulleys, and a man would stand on each side and turn those handles and lift up a load of hay or, you know, anything else that had to be raised up to the top part of the building.
And let me tell you something, man. This is something, because this means when we got off this plantation, our minds were destroyed.
Yeah.
Because why haven't we built things like this since then?
Yeah.
Why haven't we come together and done, 10 times more amazing?
Right.
Instead, we ended up on drugs and destroyed and in prison and a whole different kind of life. This is incredible.
Make you think.
Everybody got to see this. Huh?
Make you think like the people who was enslaved is totally different to the people today.
Yeah, today, right?
You know what I mean?
Because I look at this and all I could think of is some highly intelligent,
Yeah.
well organized, safety conscious, men and women that brought this together.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like this is
great.
like, once again, they took pride in getting this done. They took pride and they put their soul into getting this done and doing it right, because this was their world.
Yeah.
Even the brickwork on the bottom, the stones on the bottom were genius.
Like no mortar.
Right. No mortar. Like she wrote out earlier, they kind of.
So you can imagine when they read in the Bible where they talk about they all tell to go get stones and build the altar.
That's right.
How they went and
Unhewn stones,
yeah, I mean, like,
and put it in there.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. Like, boy, oh boy. Like, I don't need to go to Mecca.
Nope.
I don't need to go to church. I need to come right here.
Right.
You want to learn about God, you come right here and see this level of suffering and understand how precious life is. And you will follow what God said. You will never want to be a drug.
Even though I don't know you, I'm not letting nobody sell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. That's right. And it's worth something.
This is Black Watch with Commanding General Yahanna, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he made man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
We don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Black Watch. Let the show begin.
ISUPK.com is the website. Big shout out to General SHALAM, put that website together, man. 50,000 videos all day, all night, and lives from all over the world on that website, man. Go join the website, man. Check us out. I'm Commander General Yahanna. It's a Wednesday night. I thought I'd come in and check in with y'all for a little bit and talk about a few things going on. I hope y'all saw that little video that the brothers did about that bond. Okay, some slaves stayed on that bond until 1940. Feel that for a minute.
1940, there was brothers and sisters still on that plantation who would not leave because that's how tied to their slave masters was. And them shots at the barn don't do as much justice as they could because, okay, that barn was handmade, which means them logs you seeing in there, you can't really tell from the film, but them logs was made with axes. They look like straight logs, straight beams, but they were made with an axe, not with a chainsaw. They hand hewn. It's incredible to see. You see how huge it is. Now you can see how Moses could have built the ark, because I mean they built that whole thing with no nails, and it's huge. That joint, you could look in there and see that thing is crazy big. You know what I mean? And they had mules in there, so mules were banging up against them beams and all of that. Amazing work that we did, man. This Passover is going to be something to see. You're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to get an education like you never got before. And you're going to see how, once again, here's what's so evil about what we watching in that video. And that is, in that video, they fed us a certain amount of the slop, but as much as we wanted. They didn't try to destroy us, but just try to control us and keep us working hard as possible. And that's why we was able to achieve all this. The minute slavery got taken away from them, that's when they brought in the drugs. The minute we got civil rights and all of that, they brought the drugs in and then just tried to destroy and wipe us the hell out. And this part of our history, man, this got to remain with us. Everybody else is allowed to keep their history. They talk about their wars, they got their memorials, all of that. But black people, it's like you can't talk about the evil things that's done to you. You could only talk about the so-called achievements of black people, which all the achievements, as you go through Black History Month this month, watch how all the achievements just about that are shown are going to be achievements of people who struggled to join the slave master's world. It's not going to be about people who fought against the slave master's world. You understand? It's going to be about the people that joined the slave master's world. Really, they really ain't giving Harriet Tubman her due. She's not getting her due. Nat Turner is not getting his due. Tons of others. You don't even hear about Medgar Evers and them no more. You understand? You don't hear about the cats that fought against these cats. There was a lot of black people who came up against them because of what they were doing. You don't hear anything about the pushcart workers who were the real civil rights workers until it got hijacked, you understand, by Martin Luther King and the government. But them pushcart workers out of Illinois, out of Chicago, them brothers were the original civil rights workers. They were the original ones that were pushing for rights. Okay, they were living a little bit better because they were working the railroad. And since the railroad was making so much money back then, because it was pretty much the height of transportation, the railroad could move way more than trucks could move. So the railroad was like the biggest, was almost like ships. And so the railroad made money. So the pushcart workers, and for those of you that might not know what a pushcart worker is, those are the brothers who served in the dining carts and labored in the other parts of the train as well. But mainly they were known for wearing white jackets and white gloves and serving rich white people. And they call them pushcart workers because they came through the cart. Just like you do on an airplane today, the airline stewardess comes out with a cart, goes down the aisle, gives you drinks and food and snacks. Well, them brothers did that on the expensive trains. And because the railroad made so much money, the railroad decided to build towns for them, because the railroad knew that they weren't going to be able to move into white neighborhoods back in the 30s. So the railroad decided to build them towns. One of the major towns they built was in Illinois, right outside, really, in Chicago. And so they had their own community in Chicago. And they looked at what the other brothers was going through. This is the difference between them and your today black leaders, which is so evil. These brothers were making more than the average person, had homes better than the average black person. And instead of just saying to themselves, yo, we're going to keep this for ourselves, We don't want nobody else in it. They turned around and started becoming activists for the rest of blacks and Latinos and Native Indians, man. And here's something you will almost never hear. You will almost never hear. What they don't tell you is that Rosa Parks was tied to the pushcart workers. Rosa Parks was a relative or married. Mariah, look it up for me right quick, just to get her connection. Rosa Parks, okay, for those of you that may not know, who refused to sit on the back of the bus. Rosa Parks was associated with the pushcart workers. That's why they were able to mobilize, because the white railroads didn't have a problem with black people protesting the buses, because if black people protest the buses, that meant more money for who? Them. Give me a little volume on the speaker if you could. Can you give me a little speaker? Just a little bit. So the railroads was like, go ahead. Y'all want to protest the buses? No problem. More money for us. And that's when Rosa Parks got on the bus and refused to sit at the back of the bus. Shortly after that, NAACP, Martin Luther King's group, and a bunch of others all rallied around her. And sure enough, the minute they got a little capitulation from the buses, Martin Luther King and them are the ones that told everybody to go back to the buses. So Rosa Parks and the beginning of the civil rights movement started with those pushcart workers. That's real black history, man. And you can look it up. It's all over the internet. But they'll have you believe that it was really Martin Luther King and them did it. That's when it got hijacked. That's when all the Edomites, the so-called whites and others got involved. That's when the Catholic Church and the clergy got it. The white Jews got it. Before you know it, it turned into a movement of everybody coming together and loving everybody, not the struggle that black people had gone through, which is once again, once they had finished with it and robbed the little bit of money that black people made. Here's the thing, black people got free in so-called free in 1865. They really didn't even get functional to the 1920s. We just read in that little commercial about that barn, how black people stayed on the plantation all the way to 1940. So black people were trying to get together and get themselves free. They were making money now, and they was making money among themselves. They had all these little businesses now, and they started making money and got strong, and then the civil rights movement came. Wiped out the barbershops, the beauty salons, the healthcare, the beauty care workers. Right now, all your beauty care comes from the so-called North Koreans. Imagine that. A black business that was, you know, Madam C.J. Walker became a millionaire in the 20s by making black hair care products. So black people had the corner market on their own products. What happened? Eventually, they worked their way around for the North Koreans to get it. Now they got it. Now, I mean, not the North Koreans, the South Koreans to get it. Now the Asians produce all of your beauty supply. That's why all the old names are gone. All those old names of beauty care products that were made years and years ago, all of it is gone. Now you got a lot of new startups with people doing them, redoing what was done back then. But they stole it all, buried black people on it. And now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Forget about the hair. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, once again, that you get robbed from. This real black history, man. Real black history is anything you have for you never goes to you. Somebody else always steals it, always takes it from you, because you're in captivity and you don't know you're in captivity. You're in captivity and can't see that you're in captivity. You understand? That's what you're missing. So, man, was you able to get any of it? Okay, don't worry about it. We'll pull it up. Anybody can Google it and they can find out about it. All you got to do is look at the history of Rosa Parks and how things went in the beginning, so forth and so on up to that point. It's shameful. It's shameful what they're going to do with Black History this month anyway. And something else that they're doing that is real subtle and demonic. Now, before this recent year, Black History Month never celebrated themselves with those three colors. What is it? What are those colors they using? Green, red, and what's the other one? Yellow or gold? Black History Month, that was the colors of revolutionaries. That was the colors of them. That wasn't the colors that was used for Black History Month. But they adding those colors to you now. Now they're going to make Black History Month and Black movements about three colors. Why? To get it away from what's really going on, which is the Lord's 12 tribes are waking up. They don't want none of that. They don't want no parts of that. So they want to try to change the narrative. Yeah, there it is. They pushing them colors in now. They want you to identify Black power with colors. They treating you like the Crips and the Bloods or something, only with a new set of colors. You understand? Like that was never in the midst of Black people, but they bringing it in also to work out the Black Lives Matter because they done been disgraced now. Black Lives Matter got disgraced, so now they got to create, Black History Month or Black Power, and they're going to use them three colors that was used in the past way back in the 60s, man. And it's a damn shame. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that's at. Where we going first, Marah?
Students serve chicken, waffles, and watermelon on Black History Month menu.
They created a Black History Month menu and put all the stereotypes in the menu. Go ahead.
Cut on one con, sir. Salaki. On this episode of Companies That Do Too Damn Much for Black History Month, a food vendor decided to serve chicken and waffles with his choice of watermelon as a dessert to New York middle school students. Parents and students criticized the menu as being racially insensitive.
Of course it was. Of course it was. The Edomite said, oh, it's Black History Month? All right. I'm going to go give them chicken and waffles and watermelon. I'm going to give them the stereotypical, Black meal. What a disrespect. All Black people like is fried chicken and water. You know how many movies and cartoons and things were made to disrespect us in those meals, man? Disrespect the hell out of us. We only could eat watermelon because they were so huge. Watermelon was such a big fruit that the slaves could get some of that watermelon because they're so big that, it was enough to go around. And the chicken, we didn't even eat the normal pieces of the chicken. We were in slavery. We had to eat the gizzards, the feet, sometimes the head. That's what we got, the butt and the neck. We didn't get any of the actual wing, leg, thigh, breast. We didn't get any of those. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get none of that. They said this didn't get to come out, but it's on one of the tapes. When the soldiers came and emancipated the slaves and told them that they were free, the slaves raided the barn of all the animals because they had been living on these plantations for years and could never touch none of the main food. They always got the scraps. So that when they got emancipated, they went and raided them barns and slaughtered those animals and cooked them and fed themselves. Because they was pretty much starving anyway. You go back and look at the pictures of slavery, you could tell them pictures of slavery look like any concentration camp you could think of. Them slave quarters was serious concentration camps. Go ahead, Marah.
Con out of one con. I'm gonna keep going, sir.
Come, please.
If they had served chicken and waffles by itself, I don't know that we would be having this conversation. But the moment you add in the watermelon, that changed the whole complexation. Literally said Wilbur Aldrich from the Nyack NAACP via CBS. Nyack Middle School students raised concerns after lunch was served, causing their parents to issue complaints to both the school and the food service behind the mess. Aramark, the company, issued a statement on NBC apologizing for the foolery, saying it was a mistake.
They lying their ass, they behind off. Aramark is a worldwide corporation. It's a humongous corporation. Once again, it's why you can't survive without the Lord, because of course Aramark is going to make billions of dollars while you can't even be a vendor to feed your own kids in a public school. But they're going to serve up. You telling me nobody in that huge corporation that serves millions of plates of food, nobody said, wait a minute, it's Black History Month, but let's check with some Black executive or somebody Black. Should we do this? Or is you know what I'm saying? You serving thousands and thousands of meals to Black kids in school, and you ain't never say to yourself, whoa, wait a minute. Oh man, you pulling up some good stereotypes there, Mara. That's the bomb. Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, that's us back in the 20s eating watermelon. But if you could show some of them ads, the ads at how they stereotyped us. I mean, and show you how evil and how much psychological warfare it was. We were slaves eating that watermelon to survive. And instead, anything we make, we make a byword out of you. I mean, they make a byword out of it. They shame us in any food that we like. We don't shame them in their Italian food. We don't shame them. We never made posters of them eating spaghetti like maniacs. Look at that poster with that little girl with the pigtails and the watermelon. That's the kind of disrespect. I be so happy. Oh, I's so happy. I's so happy. That's what they did for us. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous, man. You know what I'm saying? You got more? Give me one more if you could, Mara. And you can switch to you when you're reading too, Mara, if you want. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Now, of course, there's no watermelon that big. But why is that? Look at this. Look at that. Pull that up. Big as you possibly can. Like, these were advertisements. Remember, it wasn't easy to make these posters back then. These things cost a lot of money to make. You can see the names of some of the painters and corporations that made them back then. Look how they shamed us in what we ate. We don't shame the Oriental. Like, every other nation gets celebrated for their cultural food. Right or wrong? People always like, let's go to the Italian restaurant. Or let's go to the Oriental restaurant. Right or wrong? Let's go to the East Indian restaurant. Don't nobody shame them for their culture and identity, but you are always shamed for yours. Even to this day, in 2023, a multi-million-dollar corporation that feeds tens of thousands of Black children because they have the contract to, not because they love our babies. Meanwhile, they go and disrespect us with a horrible stereotype. You understand? And act like, oh, it was a mistake. They never made that mistake with Italians. Right. They don't say, this is WAP food. They ain't never said that. Never made that mistake with Orientals. Why is it the mistake only happens with us? Which is why you got to wake up. You the nation not desire. Can I get a scripture on it right quick? Get me Deuteronomy 28. All right. 37. Matter of fact, make it 36. 36 and 37 real quick. And then we'll go to the New Testament.
Deuteronomy 28, sir?
Yeah, 36 and 37. And everybody, if you've studied the scriptures, which I'm sure you have, everybody knows Deuteronomy 28, after the 15th verse, is where the Lord lays out all the curses that would happen to the children of Israel. And those curses and those identities mark us perfectly, man. Mark us perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Mark us perfectly. Go ahead, Al. You can put up more if you want while you read. I see you can throw more up if you want, if you desire to. Salakia.
Khan, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Right. You're going to be brought to a nation that your fathers have not known. Because our forefathers didn't know what an Edomite was. He was in the caves until he came out with the Greeks after the Macedonians came down from the mountains. Go ahead.
Khan. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
And we serving other gods, a wooden cross, the Arab rock. We over here serving other gods, not the God of the Bible. Christianity has nothing to do with the Bible. That's a plagiarism of God's truth of the Bible. Go ahead.
Gone out of one con. Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
Right, an astonishment. You know, they look at you shocked when they see the condition you done went through and what you suffered. They look at you shocked, not shocked with empathy, but shocked as though it's your fault. A proverb. What's a proverb? Like, you know, every nigga is a criminal. Right? That's a proverb. Like every black person loves fried chicken. You know, wetbacks. These are bywords and proverbs that they lay on us. Go ahead. And a byword. So byword is like something that gets associated with you. That's what a byword is. Like all black people love watermelon. Some black people hate watermelon. All black people could dance. Some black people cannot dance a lick. But leave it to them, and they attach a byword to you for it. And they attach that byword to humiliate you and to bring your spirit low. While they talk about their culture, they got you know, Anthony Bourdain goes all over the world, eating all kind of abominations. And when he go eat them abominations, they act like this is somebody's culture to be loved and respected. They had another Edomite on that food channel that would eat anything. I don't know if y'all ever heard of him, but he was, I mean, he made some stuff. He ate some stuff, man, that would make you just watching him eat it, make you throw up. He ate all kinds of things, the scrotums of animals and all that. This cat would eat anything. And they made a whole show around it. But when it comes to you, nah, they're going to attach whatever you like, they're going to attach it to you and make it something horrible. What's a perfect example of that? A perfect example of that was your music. Remember when rock and roll came out, they didn't have nothing to say about it until Elvis Presley started getting real popular. Then it became nigga music. Then it became, you know, associated with all kind of evil. The same thing happened with the rap world. The rap world started out with us talking about our struggles. I was there. Talking about what we went through. Now they switched it into something else so they can make it derogatory, so they can talk about it and they can belittle it and turn your sons and daughters into criminals, man. Okay, that's the point. That's the point. So instead of a proverb and a byword, go ahead, Doc.
Among all the nations, among all nations,
go ahead.
Whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Right, among all nations have this same attitude towards us. I couldn't believe it when the president of Japan came out and said black people are like prostitutes. They destroy every neighborhood. Now, what they going to say about white people on this fentanyl? Wiping out whole counties. White people on this fentanyl, brother, turning whole counties into drug-infested, dens. You don't hear no bywords about it. You don't hear nothing about the ghetto in them white areas now. It done went beyond the trailer park. That's why I don't mention the trailer park no more. Because they on that fentanyl, they on them drugs, brother. And them drugs done wiped out whole white counties. Not just not just the ones in the trailer park. Every whitey in the county. Go to West Virginia. Man, you go to West Virginia, it look like Vietnam over there. Trash everywhere, filth everywhere, drug addicts everywhere. The place is a mess. Right outside of Washington, D.C. Why? Because the drugs then took it over. Why? Because they allowed it to go in there to make billions of dollars off of the people. They have robbed and raped this place on to death. And now they're ready to kill everybody off and, do the final solution, lower the population, put everybody's left on welfare or some kind of paycheck, and go on and conquer the other nations till they rule the world if they were able to. But that ain't the plan of the Lord, and it ain't going to work. You got more in that 37 verse? Those in the 37? Come. So you got more on that story, or that was it? They just was outraged.
I can read a little bit more, sir.
Say again?
I can read a little bit more, sir.
Come on, go ahead.
Come. And they didn't intend the menu to be a cultural meal. They also said their team should have been more thoughtful in its service.
Right. They don't give a damn about that. Somebody sat up there and said, man, give them the chicken and waffles. It's nigger month. Or something to that effect. That's all they cared about. They didn't give a damn about how you felt or how you thought or nothing. You know what I mean? That's why the Lord said that they would look at you in this way. Give me that scripture where the Lord said, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. That's another scripture that need to be added to this, man. Like, I hate to tell you, black people, Latino people, Native Indian people, but you on your own. I know you want to be part of the world community, but you're going to be part of the world community out in 2023, still trying to fight these people from not putting stereotypes on you, not putting bywords and proverbs on you, still not destroying your self-esteem. Still, you're going to have to, you still fighting it in 2023 because you're not part of this place. You know what I mean? And you need to wake up and see that. That's what the Lord sent us for. That's our number one mission, is to wake you up and bring you back to Christ so Christ could lead you up out of this captivity, man. But you can't get out of it yourself. You don't have the ability to get out. You think you do, but you don't. They catching you up hook, line, and sinker and destroying you in so many ways. So many ways. But them days are coming. Them days are coming where the Lord, like he said, he's going to remove his real leaders out of the corner, and they're going to bring them right in front of you, and you're going to have to face the fact that these are the men that you should be listening to, and that's the men in this truth in I.S.U.P.K. And you have to face that these are the men the Lord wants you to listen to. And then what's going to be worse is when they tell you to do something and it's going to work, then you're going to realize, damn, I was so wrong. Like, look at that picture there. Mariah, please put that picture up there. Look at that picture up there. That's a whole book. Go back to the picture before it, if you can, to the one right before it. Oh, damn, I didn't mean to mess you up. No. No, don't worry about it. Go back to the one you was at, because I'm going to get you all jammed up. That's it. By the Watermelon Vine, Lindy Lou. Somebody wrote a book about it. I don't know if that's black or white. Lou, that sounds either Italian or Oriental, but I don't know. But anyway, go to the next one that you was bringing up, Mariah, if you could. Look at that. That is derogatory as hell. The big hat represents him being lazy and wanting to rest and relax. You know what I mean? Like, that's another stereotype. Black people are lazy. That's the subliminal message in that picture. The subliminal message in that picture is that black people got big, giant lips. You see his lips. Lips is huge. His lips come off his face about, you know what I mean? 25% of the way on each side of his face. You see that, right? They made his face huge next to his lips huge next to his face. So black people got big lips. Black people are lazy. They love to relax. That's what the big hat is, and not work. You see, he's supposed to be working. You see the wooden fence behind him. You see the crops behind him, which means he's supposed to be working, but he's sitting down eating the product. That's what the knife in the watermelon means. That he done cut him out a slice. Instead of picking the watermelon and getting it into the cart for the master, he's eating the watermelon, which means he's lazy. Meanwhile, they had us in them fields out sun up to sundown. And we cut them watermelons open to survive because nobody wanted to walk, a mile just to get a glass of water and hope that you could get a glass of water, because they might get mad with you and say, get the hell up out of here. So some of us turned around and said, you know what? I'm going to eat this watermelon, man, and get some water in me, get some hydration in me. And so we would take our own break and cut the watermelon over and eat the watermelon because you were working us to death. And so what do? Draw a drawing of it and shame you in it. That was their way to shame you, like you're lazy. And we still got that vibe today. That vibe today is like black people don't want to work. Right or wrong, Mara? That vibe today is like, see, black people don't want to work. They lazy. They saying it now after the pandemic. When everybody ain't raced back to work, they was mad as hell. Don't nobody want to work no more. Everybody want to sit at home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of course nobody want to work. They've been working 400 years. No, they don't want to work no more. You ain't working. You come to work every day with a nice, look at this, pick and then they freeze. Look at that. Wait, go back to that. That's an advertisement. That's a legitimate advertisement. You see the 5 cents on it. That's a legitimate advertisement. A pal for your palate, meaning it's going to taste good. You understand?
Salaki, sir.
Look, if I could, eat seeds and all. Good. Come on, Mara.
That's what I was about to say.
God. And look how dark they made the baby. Look at the baby out. Like, look at the character. Giant lips, eyes popped open, black as a coal, with a little bit of hair and a bow on top of the hair. Like that's what's in their heart. And it's still in their heart today, which is why that company did what it did with the watermelon waffles and the chicken. Because that's it. They attach a byword to you that you're lazy, you're all criminals, you're this, you're that, and you fall for it. You fall for it. Our people, we fall for it, man. You understand? You mean, Shara, you absolutely right. This place was built on our backs, man. Built on our backs. And we got to apologize for not wanting to work more. Imagine that. Built on our backs, and we got to apologize for not doing more. Black History Month. That's why it make me sick when Jackie Robinson, the first black player to do whatever in baseball, makes me sick. Makes me sick. You understand? Because once again, they want to celebrate us joining in. They don't want us to be proud of fighting against what they did to us. Every other nation, including America, does that. You understand? It damn near brings a tear to my eye every year when I see that president come out there with that wreath for the unknown soldier. One reason is because I believe we don't have proof, but I believe that unknown soldier, first of all, that unknown soldier was an American soldier who got killed in France, and they had no identification for him. So they brought him back to America and buried him with the rest of the soldiers, but they had no ID for him. So they created that wreath. and they put that wreath on his grave. And then it became a tradition in America for the president every year to put a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier. That's for any soldier that they didn't get back, like them POWs in Vietnam that they never got back, soldiers that never made it back. They put that wreath up there for them to recognize those soldiers that they'll never get back. And guess what? They celebrate that the ones that fought for them. They celebrate the ones of us that fight for them. But they don't celebrate when we fought against them, which is what we should be celebrating. Like we should be celebrating when God helped us fight them. You understand? Not for when we fought to join them. We fought to be a part of them. Like you will not hear one story in Black History Month where Black people stood up and white people had to capitulate. You won't hear about it. You won't hear about it. That's why they barely even bring out the story about Rosa Parks and the buses. If they really tell you the story and how that story went down, Black people refuse to go back to the buses to where the bus companies were going crazy. They had the cops dragging Black people out of cars because Black people, especially Black women, they were maids for the white woman. So they had to take the bus to go to the white neighborhood to be nannies for the white kids. Well, the maids got together in vans and cars, and the brothers drove them to their jobs. And the white man got so mad, he had the cops pulling the cars over, dragging the sisters out the cars and telling them to get on the damn bus because the bus companies was going to go out of business. It was crazy. They don't tell that story. They don't bring that story out at all to where the bus companies finally said, that's how you was able to get in the front of the bus. The bus companies finally said, man, if we don't do that, we don't let them in the front of the bus, we're going to be out of business because Blacks and Latinos were all the maids. They were the ones on the damn bus. So they were the ones making them all the money. So what did they do? They capitulated. They said, no problem. Rosa Parks could sit on the front of the bus. White women were mad, but they did it because they knew they was going to lose them businesses. And what did Martin Luther King and them do? They stepped right in and stopped us from coming up against it. You got Nation Not Desired? Did we read it yet? No, we didn't read it, right? Drop. Please, drop it. You can bring the camera to you if you want.
Khan Makan, sir. I got this is the article for Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks in her own words. All right, I'm gonna just read the top and then the second one. It says Rosa Parks, 1913 to 2005, is best known for her refusal to give up a seat to a white man on a crowded bus in Montgomery.
And remember, she was pregnant. This is a pregnant Black woman in her last trimester, carrying a big old baby in her stomach, and they told her she got to get to the back of the bus for a white man to sit in the front when she's a pregnant Black woman. She said, hell no. Once again, she was backed by them pushcart workers. And they're the ones that organized that bus shutdown. They didn't care. They was making money from the railroad. The railroad didn't care. The white railroad owners didn't care because, of course, it was more money for them. And they knew it. They knew that them brothers was pushcart workers that backed Rosa Parks. They were scared to death. And here's a little tidbit for you. Guess what? The inexpensive bus companies that Black people take today, guess who runs them? South Koreans. All of them bus companies are South Korean now. They running all your buses and all your beauty care products. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to act as though the empire is all fair and equal when their kids go, like their kids working in the hair store and they go to Harvard. They go to private school because they can go to private school because they're making enough money off of you. When that money should be going to you so that your kids can be in private schools. Like America keeps you in that state.
Right.
After all these years we've been in this country, no Black children should be in public school. Public schools, you might as well, you like sending your kid to jail. That's like just saying, listen, go get trained to be in jail. You're going to learn a little bit of math, a little reading, a little bit, but you're really going to learn how to get in a gang and how to fight in the streets and how to, do every wicked, lascivious act, smoke weed, hang out in the bathroom, have sex with little girls, run out of classes. You're going to learn how to break in and break out of buildings, get around security. You learn every evil thing once your kid starts going to public school. You understand? Make a film of your child when they're 3 or 4 years old, right before they go to public school. Then make a film 2 years after they go to public school. And if you ain't the best and most excellent parent, I guarantee you 2 years later, you got you a monster. You got a monster that you got to fix now forever. You know what I'm saying? You got a monster you got to work on for a good long time. And that is unacceptable in the Black and Latino and Native Indian community. Why we got to accept that? You understand? And let me tell you once again, y'all know I say this all the time. What burns me about all this is that I thought also at one time that you cannot fix this. You can't fix this. I grew up in a place where it looked unfixable what was happening to us. And I found the truth and come to find out it's easily fixable.
That's right.
And it ain't even an effort to fix it if we wake up, brothers and sisters. Don't tell me about doing no other job but this job. This is the greatest job on earth. Because if we wake up, everything else gets fixed. Everything gets fixed when we wake up. And that's why it burns me up. It burns me up to see that. If you want to go on a bus from Philly to New York, or you want to go from New York to DC, they call it the Chinaman bus. Do they not, Mariah? They call it the Chinaman bus. Why do they call it the Chinaman bus? Because it's run by Koreans. And of course, Black people don't know the difference. But it's run by Koreans. Korean got their own bus station. They putting Greyhound out of business. If they ain't bought it yet. If they ain't bought it, they're going to buy it. Real soon, Greyhound is going to be Greyhound / Hungtang Fungtang Shi. In 2 seconds. They buying it out. When you did this in the 30s, what happened to the black bus companies in the 30s? Martin Luther King stole it, gassed you up, and had you dump them things. Because you ain't going to tell me black men wasn't sitting around in them cars making a few dollars off of them sisters and saying, man, I could do this. I could start shuttling sisters back and forth to work and make some money. You ain't going to tell me they didn't think, and they did. There was a time, a lot of you don't know about this because, of course, they destroyed them. There was a time in Washington, D.C. that every cab worker was black. They made a movie about it called DC Cab. I think Richard Pryor was in it, where they had all these black cab drivers because that's what cab drivers were in DC, and they made their money that way. In Brooklyn, they had what they called a dollar van. The dollar van would go from one end of Brooklyn all the way to the other end of Brooklyn on a straight path, like Flatbush Avenue or one of them. And then all you would do is you give the driver $1. You get on the van, he's going. When you're ready to get off, you tell him where you getting off at. Sometimes you get off on in the beginning. Oh yeah, there it is, DC Cab. They made that movie back then. Like you get on the dollar van and he'd run, and whenever you want to get off, you get off. That's how they ran it out there in Brooklyn. You understand? For years. Of course, they came in with the TLC and destroyed all them brothers' businesses. And it was hundreds of brothers with them vans. And they all had the latest vans hooked up. You would get in that van in the morning on your way to work, and they'd have a TV set in there, like one of them flip-down TVs, and everybody would be in there half asleep watching a movie or watching the morning news or whatever was the latest thing on there. He'd be playing it while you was on your way to the train station. So you come all the way across Brooklyn to right before you get to Manhattan. He dropped you off. You jump on the train, go into Manhattan, and you go to work. They did the same thing in the Bronx. That's how they got the people in and out. They brought the TLC in, wiped them brothers out. They've been doing this to you. Williams Bus Company. Where are those at now? Gone. And it burns me up. It burns me up because those small economic things could change your life. It's changing their lives. They open up a Chinese restaurant, kids go to Yale University. You don't even see their kids. All them Oriental workers that got them little shops in your neighborhood, where they children at? Why I don't see their children out gangbanging, selling dope? I only barely see them even working in the store. And if you see them working in the store, you damn sure don't see them out front playing with you. They inside that building. They don't never come out front. You don't never go up to the Chinese restaurant and there's 2, 3 little Chinese kids out front playing with black and Latino kids. They ain't doing that. When you saw that, you ain't see that. They bring them kids to that Chinese restaurant. They in the backyard away from you. And when they ain't in that backyard, they in that restaurant working. And the whole family making money. Sometimes they living in the building. They make their money and they don't have nothing to do with you. Tell me about Christianity and coming together and no racism and all this old nonsense. See, blacks, Latino, Native Indians, don't force yourself to be stupid. See, this world tries to force you to take a stupid posture. Don't be stupid. What you seeing, that's what's going on. Your eyes ain't lying to you. Your eyes are not lying to you. What you see happening, what you perceive to be happening, yes, it's happening. That's what's going on. Okay? I better get up off this. I'm running so far on it. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. That's what happened. This is real Black History Month talk. This is what we should be discussing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, police reform. Now you did police reform. You got 5 black. Listen, 12 cops on the scene, Marah. 12 cops, 2 EMT workers. 5 out of the 12 white. Who get arrested? 5 Negroes. 5. The other 7, well, they added 1 white boy. Guess they threw him under the bus with them. What happened to the rest of them? Now, what reform you gonna work on that? You can't have a nation that does not love itself above all others. It's not a nation. Why you think they talk about America, America? Why you think the Arabs is over there? Iran, death to America. Why you think the North Koreans is like, Xi Jinping or whoever, that's the China guy. Why are they cheering for their nation? Because they know they need their nation so that another nation doesn't gobble them up. What you cheering? Unity. No more racism. What's the main mantra they use, Marah? I don't even know it no more. Black Lives Matter. That's a little bit of a mantra. You understand? But basically, you trying to join the oppressor in Black History Month. Go ahead,
no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace. You trying to join them. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Give me I finished that scripture that I called for?
I got it, sir. We didn't go into
Go ahead, read it right quick and we'll move on to the next.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
Right. We're to gather ourselves together. Go ahead,
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
That's such a true scripture, man. We're the nation that's hated by everybody. Everybody we're hated by. Okay, we're the nation that's not desired. Go ahead. Wow, look at that one you put up there, Marah. You don't have that up. Please put that up. Y'all got to see this. Boy, oh boy, talk about degrading us. Those are 2 black babies eating watermelon. That's the watermelon underneath them. For those of you that may not be able to identify it, they got on 2 red flying hats, like red devil flying hats. Like I think they call them red devils or something like that. That's what they got on. Shameful. And that was the humiliation that we had to suffer. And these are real advertisements. A lot of these, let me tell you something. For years, they don't do it as much anymore. But for years, you could have gone on Auction Zip. There's a website called Auction Zip. If you ever get a chance, go on the website Auction Zip, right? And then go to Pennsylvania. Look up the Pennsylvania auctions. Remember, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia used to be the capital. This was the Washington, D.C. before Washington, D.C. So you got a lot of very, very old farms in Pennsylvania. And what AuctionZip does is auctions those estates off. And you go and look at those auctions and look what they're auctioning, a ton of little dolls like this, a ton of little statues. You'll find so much black memorabilia of those days that it'll shock you. And you think these are the mild ones. They had the ones with the noose around the neck, all of that. They had the kind that was like the hangman, but he was hanging from a noose. And you could shake him like a toy, but he hanging from a damn noose. All kinds of little stuff like this they had, all types of them. And I heard some of them have become collector's items because they're so hard to find. You know what I mean? They're so hard to find. You're right, Hebrew Jake. The sad part is that the racist figurines and advertisements are collector's items. That's right. And are worth big dollars now. They worth big, you're right, they worth big dollars now. You know what I mean? Because they collector's items. That's why you don't see them no more, but you might catch a few on AuctionZip. But I remember years ago, I used to punch them up and tons of them came up. I didn't think nothing of it. I just used to look at the pictures to look at how much they was humiliating us back then. But I never thought to myself, let me collect these things or buy these things at that time. But there were people that were doing it. You know what I'm saying? So shameful. You finished that one, Salaki Mara? That verse?
Khan, sir. Finish verse 1. Salaki. Oh, want me to read verse 2?
No, that's it. We good on that. Let's move on to the next story. Because I don't get a couple of these stories up in here. Black History Month. What a joke. The fact that they call it Black History Month is a joke in this respect. That we don't have an identity. It's Black History Month because we don't have no identity. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just black. You know what I mean? And part of the reason they pushing it as black now more is because guess what? They taking away your African-American status. They giving that to the Africans. They're giving that to the Africans that came over later on. So you even about to lose African-American status. You about to become nothing but black. You thought you had some, you know, you had a little gumption with the African, I'm an African-American. Listening to them black leaders. Not no more. Not no more. You know what I'm saying? Good point. Good point, sis. The shortest month in the year. Picture that stupidity. Shortest month in the year. Shameful. Shameful. With no identity. We got to serve Christ, man. We the nation not desire. We got to gather ourselves together and serve Yahushua. He's the one that's going to really fix the whole playing field. And every heathen, if they knew what was good for them, they would want it too. Because Christ is the only one that's going to stop a lot of these nations from getting wiped off the face of the earth. Because as they go on into this nuclear war that's getting ready to happen in this empire, a lot of them going to get wiped off the face of the month. Go ahead, Morale. Where we going next?
Khan on the one, Khan. MRI shows racism and poverty alter brain development of black children, study says.
It's about time. I didn't mean to cut you off, Morale. It's about time this come out. They saying that racism alters the brain activity in children, meaning that guilt feeling, that oppressive spirit, that undermining stress, that feeling like human beings are social animals. There are some animals that you take out of the wild and put them in captivity and they can no longer procreate. You bring them into captivity, they like that panda bear. That's why them Japanese look at that panda bear so preciously. Because if you take that panda bear out of the wild, it's very difficult for that panda bear to procreate. And that's a built-in mechanism in tons of social animals, meaning when they're in danger, okay, by being in captivity, their reproductive organs shut down so that they don't have no children in that captivity. And then once you let them back out into the wild, Then they start to procreate again. That's the problem they had with the whales. Them whales that they had in them aquariums that was killing them Edomites. You know, they get up on the nose of the whale and the whales shoot them up into the air and all of that. Them whales were having a difficult time reproducing. Okay. Same with some tigers because they're in captivity and they stress. Guess what? Black people are social creatures too. We the biggest social creatures. We more social than any other nation on this earth. They don't call us soul brother for nothing. We are very social creatures. Okay. And they and in captivity, something happens to us. Go ahead, Op.
Out of one con, sir. Black children living in poverty face increased instances of stress and trauma that can alter their brain development. A new study found.
Go ahead, Slocky.
A new study found. The study was published this week by the American Journal of Psychiatry. Researchers at Harvard University examined MRI scans of 7,350 white and 1,786 black children ages 9 to 10. The data in the study was collected by the National Institutes of Health in 2019. Researchers found that increased stressors like economic hardship and systematic racism play a significant role for black children and can lead to the development of mental health issues as they age, the study said.
As they age, they get mental health issues. You wonder why we going bananas in these cities because of all the madness we've been suffering for 400 years. We the product of slavery, of so many things that has happened to us that doesn't. Now, why isn't this story all over the biggest black shows? Not this damn story. Like this study finally came out and shows that black children are being developed wrong because of this captivity. Why the hell is this not every damn where? This is crazy. Go ahead, Op.
Amazing. If I could add,
please.
They went down Kensington and did a full documentary on Kensington. Salaki, sir.
Come on.
I've been listening to some Benjamite music recently.
Yeah.
Try to listen to all the tribes too. But I played like a Benjamite music station, right?
Yeah.
And the brother said, rich like the dope sellers in Philly.
Damn.
I said, what? like, because I can't still really tell what they be saying. But
yeah.
I made that. I said, wow.
They know about it. This all the way in Jamaica. They know the drug dealers in Kensington are making so much money because it's dope fiends everywhere. The tapes all over the world.
And that's so interesting, but they ain't showed nothing about this.
Of course not.
On top of the skulls, remember they had the skulls on display.
Right.
You would have thought that,
you'd have thought that meant something. You'd have thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, why that ain't coming out? Meaning, for those of you that don't know about how they, had the bones of all the brothers and sisters from the MOVE group, their children. I mean, bombed the building, killed their children, and then took their children's bones and put them in a university and had them in the university all this time. They in court fighting, trying to get the bones back, trying to find out where the bodies of their kids at. The bodies of their kids is in the anthropology section in University of Penn. Like shameless bastards, man. Shameless bastards. What they'll do. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. And you telling me to keep my eyes closed? Damn that, man. I'm not doing that, man. I'm going to tell you just like it is. I don't care what you think. I'm going to tell you just like it is. It ain't peachy. You know what I mean? And you better get ready to get to work. You know what I mean? If you want to have something decent in this earth, your very existence in this captivity under this so-called systematic racism, which is nothing more than economic slavery. according to them, man, our children developing wrong and less than theirs. And you could even see it in black and Latino and Native Indian children. They got a low tolerance for stress. You know what I mean? Like our children, that's why we snap in a minute. We got low tolerances for stress because we live such a stressful existence in this empire, man. Go ahead, Doc.
And if I may, sir, Salaki too, if I could,
please.
What's so crazy is
you can switch camera.
They doing all these different studies on the Black and Hispanic children and things of that nature that we got going on in the community, all this outreach, right? But they ain't doing they ain't say you know what, why don't we do free health care for Black and Hispanic children because of these stress that they endured from slavery? Why don't we get free housing or something like that?
Let's organize something for them. Hell no. But when the so-called Jew in 1948 declared his independence, they poured billions in there, gave him all the weapons and technology he needed to defend himself, and made him a powerful nation to this day. To this day. So how you going to talk about fairness and equality and coming together and we all got to work? That's bull crap, man. All that's a bunch of BS, man. They'll play that out until Black and Latino people have had enough of it, and then they'll try to kill us all off. Thanks be to the Lord. Christ is coming to end every empire on this kingdom. You got to become a believer, man. You got to believe in the unbelievable. You understand? You got to have faith. Because, you know what I mean? Because you sure can't get yourself out. You can move to another country. You can go make $1 billion and move to another country, and you will live in a so-called free environment, so-called, but your people will be a slave. You won't have the enjoyment of having your own nation with your own identity, with your own name and your own land and your own means of protection and the real freedom to say what you need to say to the people that harm and hurt you. You will never have that until Christ returns. That's why we should serve him out with everything. You know what I'm saying? With everything. That's crazy. Go ahead, Marah.
Salaki, sir. If I could add also, too, just like General Hyman brought out, that Black women is the number one suffering from having babies that they more likely to die giving birth. Yeah. Like on top of all the facts that they have, all the proof that they have that we suffering, they just ignoring it. Like
they could care less about it. You know what I mean? They big pharma and them getting more money. Like the more, they got a problem. Oh, they not developing. We got a drug for that. Charge them $20 a pill. We got a drug for that. Not we got to fix this. No, just give them another pill. Let's make some more money off of them. What they suffering? Their kids ain't coming right. Let's make more money off of them. You know what I mean? Oh, what they having low birth rates? They ain't getting the same care. Oh, let's charge them more for this. Let's find another way to make some more money. Not let's fix it. Let's just make more money off of it. You know what I mean? Please, man. You got to turn to the Lord, man. Escape this evil place. Go ahead,
Khan. The stressors contribute to Black children having less gray matter in their brains.
Damn.
A byproduct of absorbing toxic stress.
Damn. So it results in I just said we got less of a tolerance for stress. I just said it. And there's the proof right there. So you got less of the substance needed to tolerate stress in your brain over the years. Meaning they wear your spirit out. So you don't have no strength no more to fight up against the constant loss of justice. The constant, shut down before you get the rights you deserve. You just get wiped the hell out, man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Go ahead, Marah. Go ahead. Go on and switch cameras.
If I may, sir. Yeah. There is a thing in America called toxic masculinity, and they do something about that. There's all types of programs for toxic masculinity and players. Shalaki. If you go to like domestic violence programs, they got houses for women. Like the names of the programs be battered women program, and they give you housing, but nothing for. I mean, what about the Black and Hispanic children? When you did the story but that they was getting paid to send them to prison.
Yeah.
And nothing for that. It's like it just go out the window.
That's it. Just, this business as usual. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, we got a pill for it. We'll fix it. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden went in there and had that whole State of the Union speech. You know, man, said, we got to do it together. We got to do it together. Had Tyree Nichols' parents there. You understand? But you sent billions. They had the ambassador to Ukraine there. They got billions. Tyree Nichols and them and the black community, they still, living like a third world country. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't all that talk, and this is what makes me sick about black leaders. All that talk, and I don't hear one black leader say, you must shut these drugs down in America or we'll shut it down for you. Ain't nobody telling him that. Ain't nobody there saying, look, you're going to end this drugs in this country or we'll end it because it's killing our babies. It's destroying our families. You understand? And that's what's supposed to happen. What's supposed to happen is they supposed to step to them. Meanwhile, they ain't saying nothing because many of them is getting it on. And not only that, if I could real quick, all over America right now, you ain't going to tell me this ain't investment money put into this. They opening up Arab smoke shops on every corner. They opening up Arab smoke shops like you open a chicken joint or a Chinese restaurant. Them Afghanistanians, that plane, you saw them Afghanistanians running for that plane. Now you know why they was running for that damn plane. Because they got over here and they got them a smoke shop in America on every corner to ensure that you continue becoming a drug addict, man. It's crazy out. Go ahead.
If I may, sir. Salaki. Not to go back into Kensington and Allegheny.
Do it.
But they gave them free housing. They get free housing.
Yes, they do.
And they get safe havens to get hired.
Yes. Trump started that. Trump said he was going to make areas where they can just go and get high. And he did it. But they're going to have areas where they're going to go. Yeah, they ain't going to stop them from getting high. They're just going to have areas where they're going to make more money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't never stop. It don't never, ever, 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 ever stop. It only stops when Christ comes. Know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. That's how you get free from it. Imagine that. They done did MRIs on our babies. Come to find out our kids are stressed the hell out. Go ahead.
So this is a good part right in the story. The study defines the stressor as prolonged exposure to adverse experiences that lead to excessive stress hormones and disrupt the immune and metabolic regulatory systems.
Damn, the immune and metabolic regulatory system. The immune system is your defense system against diseases and illnesses. The metabolic system is the system that gives you the energy to, make your body function, for you to become an athlete and to do the things that you would need because your metabolism is in its right place. I'm not an expert. I ain't a doctor, but you get my point. Man, the stress is doing that to remember now, this is starting as a child. And they said as it starts as a child, later on, it becomes this. Man, this is like being in captivity is a horrible thing, man. Go ahead,
Lucky, sir. We about to read right now. In the study, researchers found that Black children often develop behavioral problems later in life, such as PTSD, anxiety, and depression.
And you wonder why we shooting up the damn neighborhood, man. They know what the hell they doing to us, man. They know exactly what they doing to us, Murat. Damn. Go ahead.
These children.
This is what we should be talking about during Black History Month, man. Go on, switch cameras. Go ahead,
Sir. These children also were susceptible to drug and alcohol abuse.
Come on, man.
And suicide attempts.
Come on, man.
And were likely to commit violence.
Come on, Murat. Come on, Murat. That's crazy, That's our life. And they know it. They done studied it. They know it. And then meanwhile, you telling Black people, at some point, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You need to stop blaming the white man. you need to do blah, 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 blah. When it's saying right there, because of the environment you're in, you are highly stressed. You're going to become violent, subject to drugs and alcohol, stress levels too high. I grew up in that. I know what that is. I lived it, watched all my friends live it. That mess that's right there. And then meanwhile, we blamed ourselves, which probably compounds the stress. When you blame yourself, because when you blame yourself, then you don't know how to get out of it. Right. This is crazy, man. This is a crazy thing. Go ahead, Mara.
Count on the one, Con. Salaki, sir.
You telling me we should stop teaching our people to wake up? We should stop having white people kiss our boots? We should stop saying the white man is the you know what and I know what? I ain't going to say it on the air, but I'll say it every day on that street corner. That's what lowers our stress. You know what I'm saying? That's what lowers the stress on us. Our children are stressed out as a result of it, man. Go ahead,
I'm gonna read this and drop down, sir.
Go ahead.
Harnett said his team began exploring a cognitive development study to dispel this kind of folk belief that black and white people have categorically different brains.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna drop down. Researchers said black children are much more likely to be exposed to violence, live in disadvantaged neighborhoods, and combat systematic racism daily than white children.
And here's the thing: the brother, whoever that was, I'm not sure if he was a brother, but whoever did this study, they did this study to combat the idea that we were inferior to them. Because, of course, you know, that went around. According to what he just said, that means that they believed we were inferior to them. So he went and did the study to try to stop our belief that the belief that we were inferior to them. And when he did the study, he found out we were more messed up than them because of what we've been suffering here. That's why they've been able to count themselves as such a success over us. Brother, captivity, man, destroy you in ways that's never even mentioned. Never even mentioned in this nightmare, man. There's more on that, Mara?
Con, sir, there's a little bit more.
Go ahead. Drop that last part.
Con. They are also exposed to those factors at an earlier age, the study said. I'm going to drop all the way down. It's the last part. The adversity that these kids are exposed to, it impacts everyone, but is disproportionately burdened black children in this case, he said.
We catch it way more than anybody else, man. And that's what should be discussed in Black History Month. Watch all the stupid ass stories you're going to hear about in Black History Month. How this fool and that fool went and achieved something to join us. They're the first black person to do this and the first black person to do this, which probably stresses us out more. To do the smallest little thing, you got to be stressed all the way out to become the first one to do it. Meanwhile, they doing the thing all day like it's nothing and having no hindrance to when they do it. Go ahead, Op.
Salaki, sir. The last part in this that I did not mean to skip over. The U.S. Salaki, the most recent U.S. Census data shows that black families have a lower median income, higher rates of unemployment and poverty, and lower rates of educational achievement compared to white families, the study notes. And then I wanted to drop down to this because this was so, I'll just read it. The adversity that these children are exposed to, it impacts everyone, but is disproportionately burdens black children in this case. If I could, sir, I don't think Salaki, the oppressor has lower median income that he deals with daily.
Exactly.
I don't think the higher rates of unemployment and poverty that he deals with daily. I think that last part was just Esau being the devil. If there was, the oppressor.
Listen, what you're saying is so right in this, that they know that we suffer far more than they do. They know it. And they know that suffering is a direct result of the things that happens to us as we grow older. That trauma from young exists. in the black community. And listen, and that exists past lines of just poverty. Racism is everywhere. It's even more when you have a little wealth and you more around them. You go into a white school, you catching more racism. You on the white school bus, you catching more racism. You being called the N-word and other words even more. So even though your family might have a little more money, you get more of the racism side. On the other side, if your family got less of the money, you still getting the racism side, just maybe not directly like the ones that's wealthier. And so being black, period, you catching it either way. Don't ever tell me to stop blaming the white man for what's happening to us. That's the proof right there. That's the proof he should be blamed for it. And listen, and blaming him for what he did, that they always talk about take accountability. Take accountability. Take accountability for what's being done to us, man. And let me tell you something, and it's very strengthening. It's very strengthening to get away from the idea that you caused this, that your people are the problem, that you are this way, especially when the real truth is none of this is your fault. None of it is your fault. You understand? It's very liberating and stressful and a stress reliever to your spirit to put the blame where it is. It's a natural human instinct to pronounce judgment on every situation in your life. That's why the Lord gave you a brain so that you can critically think about what is right and what is wrong according to the Bible. By you being able to do that, you're able to say when something is wrong and you're being blamed for it. Nothing is worse than being falsely accused. And that is what's happened to us. We're in a perpetual state of being falsely accused to be a criminal, falsely accused to be a drug dealer, falsely accused to be lazy, falsely accused that we have every opportunity like everyone else, falsely accused in many cases like racism doesn't exist. Those are false accusations, man. And it's very liberating to say, you know what, that's a lie. The truth is you are harming me, man. That's the truth. And to be able to say that is, brother, that's everything, man. You understand? That's very important, right or wrong. You was going to add something, Salaki?
This is the last thing.
Go ahead,
switch
on, please.
We just did this story just now.
Man.
What's crazy is our children go to school, think it's going to be a regular day, enjoying so-called their history month.
Yep.
And what do they face? Waffles, chicken,
damn,
watermelon.
Put the camera on you, Murad. Damn, you right.
Chicken, waffles, and watermelon
at
school.
You right. Like they got to deal with that. Now they got to sit in front of their white teachers and their white students, and they got to now bite in the watermelon. They got to be watched like an animal in the wild eating their watermelon. They got to be watched like an animal. Like now white people and East Indians and Arabs and all of that can look at them like, oh, they do eat chicken and waffles and watermelon. Like look at you with that byword all over you, man. This is crazy, man. This is crazy, man. I'm going to put blame where it belongs. Listen, I blame us for the things that we do. You know I do every day. But I ain't blaming us for the things we don't do, man. You know what I mean? Give me the next story, Murad. Where we going next? Two more short ones, right?
Kind of one concert.
15 minutes.
You sent.
Say again? Yep. Can you pull them up?
Kind of one concert.
Do the second one first. I think the second one's. Can you do the second one? I think that's the one. Like, this is crazy. This is what should be discussed in Black History Month. Yep, that's it. There's another one. Here goes another underlying stressful situation you about to experience.
So I just wanted to post a picture up to lock.
Come on, please.
Mississippi lawmakers trying to take over Jackson water funds. Federal manager warns.
Like, this is amazing. Now, they just ran out of water. They had a water crisis, right? In Jackson, Mississippi, where they couldn't get any clean water in the city. Now, they came in and so-called fixed the situation. And now they want to steal the money that was given to fix the water crisis. They want to steal that money let the water crisis continue and not give black people the water they're supposed to get. This is amazing. Let's read this story. Like, once again, black people in their houses going about their day and going to be stressed. Going to be stressed. And like any danger, there's only two things you can do when there's danger. You can run or you can fight. And if you don't do both, you're going to be victimized by it every day. We're supposed to fight by standing up and bringing the truth out on what they're doing. We ain't supposed to just lay down and take it. Oh, well, you know how they are. Oh, well. No, we ain't doing that. We're going to wake our people up, man, and stand up against it and change it. Go ahead and read it, Marah. This is such an interesting story, y'all.
Con one con. Jackson Mayor, Salaki. Go back up. The freeze of early 2021 wasn't the origin of the water system collapse in Jackson, Mississippi, but the winter storm introduced the country to Jackson's aging and improperly maintained pipes and water plants, which failed and left residents without clean water for more than a month. The crisis surged back in the summer of 2022, leaving residents without clean water for 2 months and drawing comparisons to the lead poisoning scandal in Flint. Another banner example of America's ruinous infrastructure system.
Right. And it ain't just an example of the infrastructure system. Both these incidents were done because somebody in power decided to reroute the water. You understand? Flint, Michigan didn't happen because the water system was crumbling. Flint, Michigan happened because some greedy bastard changed the direction of the water and let it run through a filthy, disgusting place. That's why that happened. And the same with Jackson. And now they want to steal the funds. Go ahead. Give me a little bit more, Marah.
Khan. Here, as in Flint, the federal government stepped in. In November, the Department of Justice appointed a federal manager to take control over the Bellegarde utility.
Right. They had to come in and take over the utility company. The utility company was giving the people poison water. So they had to come in and take it over. And of course, they know it's going to a poor area of the state. That's why they do it. It's going to a poor area of the state. They to hell with them. They want to wipe you out. So they send the water to a poor area of the state. The federal government had to step in and, whoa, stop that. And had to shut them down. Go ahead, Op. And by the way, these utility companies are private companies. These are companies that get exclusive contracts from the state because they're cronies. And all the investors are people from overseas investing in United States utilities, making money off of the utilities that you got to pay for. Like you don't know how bad you got it. You don't know how much in a hole you are and how much you need Yahawashi to come back and to wake you up and how much you need the prophets of God in the I.S.U.P.K. You have no clue, man. Go ahead, Op.
And less than a month later, Congress approved $600 million exclusively for the city's water system.
Right. They gave them $600 million, which is peanuts. But they gave it to them to fix the damn water. What did the Edomites do? Go ahead, Op. What did they do? Let's see. Let's see if they said, thank you, federal government. We're going to correct the system and make sure the water is beautiful and clean. Let's go.
But the rescue effort is already running up against the realities of local politics.
Local politics, meaning local thieves. That's what they really should be saying. They saying local politics, but that really just means local thieves that don't always get seen. Go ahead. And then you tell black people they got to go to work and work harder and all that while you stealing the money for the damn clean water. Go ahead, Op.
Khan. For decades, the state and city leaders have clashed over who should control local spending.
Right. They fighting over who gonna control the money. because whoever controls the money, they get their cronies in there and kickbacks, and it's a whole big robbery. That's really why. It's who gonna control it. Why? Because it's a damn robbery. Once again, you get robbed and then told there's no racism. Stop complaining. You got to escape these people, man. Go ahead.
So I'm skipping down. If the Senate bill becomes law, the Mississippi Capital Region Utility Act would effectively give the state authority over Jackson's water system once the federal manager's authority lapses.
Right. Once the feds are gone, then the state takes over. And the local politicians who've been getting a king's ransom off of the water supply and probably changed it to make more money off of it, they lose power. And they mad as hell. And they fighting over the thing now. And now they want to fight in a way to steal the new money that came in. Not only was they stealing the old money, now they want to steal the new money. You don't hold a chance. And where's your black leaders at? Absent from the job. Go ahead, Op.
Got to read this part, sir. That's because it would grant the governor power to appoint 3 of 9 members and the lieutenant governor 2, giving statewide leaders who are white majority control over water, wastewater, and stormwater utilities in Jackson, whose population is 82% black.
82% black. You don't have a chance. Go ahead. Did they say what the governing body makeup is?
Salakis.
No, that's all right. Keep reading.
The mayor would get 4 appointees, including one that he would have to select in consultation with the mayor of nearby Bryham, now majority black, and another chosen with the mayor of Ridgeland.
And listen, if I could, Mirage Salaki, they act like black people, we're too violent, we fighting all the time. You can't even get along by running a water system. You got to have people appointed. You got to have people, the federal government got to say, you appoint 2, you get 2, and you get 2. Now let's all work together and make sure that everything is fair, because you're too busy robbing each other and stealing everything black people have. You stealing the sweat off of their brow if you could. If you could make $1 off it, you'd have a rag stealing the sweat from our people. And that's why we suffer in this place, man. Mariah, I'm going to stop right there because I got to let you put that last story in. Got 5 minutes. So put that last story in, but that's just another example. They sitting up there after all that Jackson just went through. There was no water in the damn place. Water was poisoned. Could have killed millions. God knows how many of them they killed. Or poisoned with lead and all kinds of other toxins, man, from giant factories getting rich. Once again, you don't have a chance without the Most High. That's why you should turn to the Lord. You should turn, every brother and sister should turn to the Most High, man, and make that covenant with him. Christ opened the door for you to make that covenant with him. You understand? You can make that covenant and follow his laws, statutes, and commandments, and he will keep his, and he always keeps his ends of the deal. You don't believe so? Look at us in captivity. That was him keeping his end of the bargain. We broke our end of the deal. He said, no problem. I'll give you what you get for breaking your end of the deal. You go back to doing the deal because Christ reinitiated the contract. You go back to doing what you're supposed to do. And guess what? You get back in the covenant and you get back on top. As simple as that. It ain't no more different. Laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And put your faith in the Most High in your house, child. And you get to get up out of here, man. Go ahead, Mariah. Hit me with that last one, man.
Khan. Mom runs over 15-year-old boy twice as revenge for bullying her son.
See that? They done had enough of it, man. All the poison and stress these sisters is under and brothers is under. This cat bullying her 9-year-old kid. She just decided to run him over with a car. Go ahead,
A mother allegedly drove her car over a 15-year-old boy twice as revenge for the victim apparently bullying and robbing her son. Jennifer Nelson, 35, drove a car into a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot across the street from William Floyd High School in Mastic Beach, Long Island, and confronted a few teenagers with a knife and a bat prosecutor said.
Right. Like, these mothers done had enough of you, man. And then went going crazy. And this is from the environment. This Black History Month. It's from the environment. And now she gonna get taken away from this kid probably. So she pulled out a knife and a bat. That's, you know, attempted assault. Then hit him with the car. That's actual assault, possibly attempted murder. So they're gonna tag her up, you understand, and lock her up. And meanwhile, her kid was probably gang members, probably, you know, I don't know, but they doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. And then now bullied her son, and she just had enough of it, man. Like, they drawing us into a world of chaos, man. This is the real Black History Month. Go ahead,
A 15-year-old boy walked away to the Manhattan bagel shop parking lot and was followed by Nelson in her car. The mother hit him and knocked him over, then proceeded to drive over the victim up onto a curb, reversed, and drove over the victim again.
Good night. That reverse. That's what the prosecutor gets you for. You hit that reverse and go back over him again. Oh, the prosecutor, he gonna get you for that one. That's a rough one right there. Go ahead,
According to an affidavit obtained by the New York Post.
Right, like that's a blatant disregard for human life. That's a rough one she gonna have to deal with, you know what I mean? But she couldn't take it no more. Trying to take care of a kid, probably been abused herself. She probably been bullied herself, abused, molested, God knows what, in this hell that we've been in. So of course she reflecting on it with her own kid. Don't want her kid to suffer the same thing. Probably don't have a husband at home, no family structure. So she take it upon herself and go the hell off. And you telling me I should be celebrating Black History Month? Black History Month is a month to remember the nightmare we've been going through for 400 years. That's what Black History Month is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a reflection of the nightmare that we've been suffering in this place, man. That's why I'm calling everybody, all camps, man. Show up April 1st, Raleigh, North Carolina at the Raleigh Convention Center. April 1st, sundown, Passover. All week, man, we be going to plantations, slave, the first Black school in North Carolina, examining all the history of everything that happened to us, man. You understand? As well as celebrating 54 years of holding the truth down in this I.S.U.P.K, man. We're going to bring a positive rap concert into the game. That's going to be a part of everything that we do. It's going to be a momentous week, man. The city expects an extra 80,000 people to come to the city that night. It's going to be spectacular, man. If you ever want to take a vacation, now's the time to do it in Raleigh, North Carolina, man. April 1st, that whole week leading up to April 1st, we'll be there. General Muhammad will be doing his amazing class on that Friday, the night before. Feast of Unleavened Bread, we'll be doing that on Sunday. All of those activities will be going on during that time. So it will be a night to remember, a week to remember down there in Raleigh, North Carolina, man. Hey, I'm really want to tell you how much I appreciate y'all joining us tonight. Check out the video Mirage going to play when we went to see this barn, and understand that brothers and sisters stayed in this barn, in this slavery all the way up to 1940. That's how long we stayed on the plantation. Even after the soldiers came and told us we was free, we still stayed on that plantation all the way up to the 1940s. Hey, I'll see y'all next time, y'all, live on the ISUPK. Name of the channel, America on Fire, man. This is the new channel we rocking on. Check us out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. live. My main man, Mariah, holding us down all the time. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all next time, fam. Shalom.
Join us there.
It's about time, sending curses to them enemies.
This is amazing. Slaves built this and engineered it. Yeah. Shoot. We were building. Yes, indeed. Come on in, I.S.U.P.K. Come on in. Come in. Man, please go ahead.
Yeah. 1 second. So this is the building we call the Great Barn. There were many different barns here. There were many farms here, but this was, we believe, the largest barn that was ever built here at Stagville. It was said to be one of the largest barns that had ever been built in the area when it was completed. And this building was built in 1860. So it's built just 4.5 years or so before emancipation. And we do believe that it was built entirely by enslaved builders and craftsmen from this site. As I'm sure you can tell from looking at it, this just would have been a massive building project in this time. You can see obviously the tool marks and the timbers. This entire building is timber framed, so these large timbers are held together without any nails or screws or metal attachments. It's basically, you know, the wood has been almost custom carved to lock together. And then there's individual wooden pegs that are carved to fit every joint together. It's an incredibly strong, obviously, building technique. And even the enslaved men who cut this timber and moved it here would have had incredible knowledge and skill, because you can look at the size of these timbers and imagine the knowledge that it took to lift and move these beams with only ropes and pulleys and, you know, maybe a few teams of mules hauling.
Right.
The longest timber in this building is this one that's over our heads. It's a single piece of wood, a single tree, all the way from the end there to right here over my head.
Wow.
And of course, the tree that timber came from was much, much, much bigger before it was cut down.
And even how they slotted it.
Yeah.
That's a perfect shot right there, where they slotted it
Yep.
and how they pegged it. No nails.
And then you can see they actually used pressure. They used a wedge driven into the middle there
Right.
to push against itself to make it even stronger.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So these were not dummies.
Nope.
They knew their business.
Yeah, we definitely see this building. We see this building as such a clear reminder that a lot of times when we talk about slavery, we talk about the way that the institution of slavery took physical labor from people. But this building is such a reminder that the institution of slavery was profiting not just from the work of enslaved people's hands, but also from the work of their minds. Right? This building shows the ingenuity, the expertise, the skill, the craftsmanship, the experience of the people who were here. And that was also being taken for profit, right? In this building, in this place too.
I'm sure that you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that they took slaves to other plantations and utilized them for their skills in other ways and building other buildings. And boy, oh boy, slavery is a good business.
And if you mind me asking also to the type of animals, was it animals or people lived here?
This was a stables for animals, and it was mules. So working animals that were pulling plows, pulling carts and wagons. There were mules stabled here in this particular building. Yeah.
Like if you want to truck that up, you know.
Exactly.
A mule was big. How did they for the head to even go over that truck?
That's right.
Yeah.
They had to sit up pretty good, and I'm sure they got taken care of because, of course, they were plowing all the 50 square acres. The mules had to be taken care of.
Yeah. Otherwise, if that mule ain't working, guess who working?
Yeah.
You gotta work.
Pulling that plow. This is a hand plow right here, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are both plows here.
Those bent tips are for you to use your hands on.
So they were connected to the mule, and you had your hand on it. And
I see. You pulled it, but you walk behind it. Okay. This is crazy. This is something to see.
I would not be shocked if the men them who was taking care of it, if they stayed on top, because they won't put the mules on top there, right? That was hay.
No, that would have been probably storage and hay and feed for the animals. Exactly.
And what was this device up here?
So this top story up here, the floor that's up over our heads, that would have gone all the way across, and this would have been like a giant hayloft up there.
Okay.
And that is a winch mechanism that was used to raise heavy or bulky things up to the top story. So there would be ropes and pulleys, and a man would stand on each side and turn those handles and lift up a load of hay or anything else that had to be raised up to the top part of the building.
And let me tell you something, man. This is something, because this means when we got off this plantation, our minds were destroyed.
Yeah.
Because why haven't we built things like this since then?
Yeah.
Why haven't we come together and done, 10 times more amazing?
Right.
Instead, we ended up on drugs and destroyed and in prison and a whole different kind of life. This is incredible.
Make it
Like,
think.
everybody got to see this.
Make it think like if the people who was enslaved is totally different to the people today.
Yeah, today, right?
You know what I mean?
Because I look at this and all I can think of is some highly intelligent,
Yeah.
well organized, safety conscious, men and women that brought this together.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, this is
That's great.
like, once again, they took pride in getting this done. They took pride and they put their soul into getting this done and doing it right, because this was their world.
Yeah.
Even the brickwork on the bottom, the
Yeah.
stones on the bottom, were genius.
Like no mortar.
Right. No mortar.
Like
Like you wrote out earlier, they kind of fitted them in together to make it work.
So you can imagine when you read in the Bible where they talk about they all tell it to go get stones and build the altar.
That's right.
How they went and
Unhewn
altar,
stones.
I mean, like,
And put it in there.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. Like, boy, oh boy. Like, I don't need to go to Mecca.
Nope.
I don't need to go to church. I need to come right here.
Right.
You want to learn about God, you come right here and see this level of suffering and understand how precious life is. And you will follow what God said. You will never want to be a drug dealer after this. You will never want to live a life that this world has got us living after you see this. Not if you got any good intelligence. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be super motivation for you.
Yeah, I got think of that too. Because more likely that way you find Ricks and them come from.
Right. Is that wood?
Yeah.
Wood.
That's what he.
This was worth 10 times that. You know,
That's right.
Man, what you gonna do, man? Like, this supposed to be, you supposed to want to build something after this. You wonder why we coming together April 1st from all over the country, all around the world, and coming together in brotherhood and righteousness, because we got to get this in us now. Like, this needs to be in us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this was in there under force. Now you under, yeah, he got the watch. Now that we still under the same, everything that was described in these spots is going on with us right now today. So, we got to do what they did back then for us.
That's right.
As simple as that. Look at this. I mean, no nails. You running at Home Depot trying to get a box of nails. You slow on the game. They Home Depot. You bring one of them brothers back from the past. Home Depot.
Yeah.
Clock, clock, clock. We in there. No nails.
Which they know too. Them nails,
Yeah.
more likely is the oppressor.
Making more money.
Yeah, but who can't do this?
Yes.
You understand what
Yes.
I'm saying? He can't do this. And in his mind, nails are better. But this structure here stands for how long?
Since the 1800s.
You know what I mean?
Good night.
Which means we had engineers.
Yeah.
We had people who could,
With top skills.
yeah.
Well, what happened? They played us out.
Yeah.
They played us all the way out. And that's why it may not be cool. It may not be sexy to just come together in brotherhood, to give way to your brother, to forgive your brother. That might seem soft, but that's what they did and got hit. Well, this whole, you got to get it. You got to be cold, this, that. Oh, it sound nice, right? It sound good. You know what I'm saying? But what's the reality of it? It don't really work. It don't really work. What works is what Christ prescribed to us. You know what I mean? The law hang on two things. Love the Lord with all thy might and love thy brother as thyself. Now that's hardcore.
That's right.
That's manhood right there. That's how you get something done. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us amazing, man. I ain't
Talking about curse.
Please.
I just want to read this as a quote from a slave that actually lived, was born on the slave plantation.
okay.
And he continued to live here.
And he spoke of one.
Yeah.
Who? I know that's gold. I'm sorry. I'm just
slave
checking that's why
narrative
we're doing it.
that they did in the early 1900s. He said, we didn't have any horses to haul with. We used oxen and ox carts. The horse and mules was used to do the plowing. When the Yankees came, they didn't do much harm. Only they told us we was free niggas. But I always feel like I belong to Massa Paul. And I still live at Stagville on the old plantation. I has a little garden and does what I can to earn a little something. The Lord and fixed it so now that I will get a little pension and I'll stay right on. I'll stay right on in. Right on in that little house.
That's every brother in the projects right there.
That's right.
That's every brother in the projects right now. Go ahead.
I'll stay right on in that little house. So the good Lord called me home. Then I will see Master Paul once more.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's all. He see Master Paul once more.
Shalom, Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover.
Like anything, if you want to accomplish anything, especially in the truth of the Most High, you warn against all the spirits that would like to see you destroy it and like to see it fail. But through the grace and mercy of the Most High, great men have stood the test of time to create great things for the Most High. And this is no different. This is no different. This is a war and a battle to bring this truth where it should be. And boy, the men and women in this truth are continuing to do an amazing job. So I'll see y'all out there. War up, April 1st. Get it on, y'all. All right, sure.
April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yohanna is putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us at the Sheridan in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the convention center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st,